Hello everyone, this interactivity is called Two Sides of the Mountain. So this is the first page, one side versus the other. Mountains are large land masses that affect the weather patterns around them. One side of the mountain has fertile soil and a lot of vegetation. The other side of the mountain is dry and dusty. The different features on each side of the mountain are caused by rain and wind patterns. Click through the gallery to see two different mountains and the differences between their two sides. You can see there's like a plus mark here. So it changes the picture when you click on it. So this is the windward side of Mount Oahu. Notice the weather and vegetation. And then you go to the next one, and that's the leeward side of Mount Oahu. Notice the weather and vegetation. Then the next page is Nepal is on the windward side of the Himalaya Mountains, which stand between the Indian Ocean and Tibet. Notice the weather and vegetation. It's kind of a low vegetation. And Tibet is on the leeward side of the Himalaya Mountains. Notice the weather and vegetation. There's no vegetation there, you can see. So, and then you can zoom in and out. So we're going to go to the next page. Make sure that you click through all those slides or you won't get credit. Winds and precipitation. A mountain range that is in the path of a prevailing wind will influence where the precipitation falls. Warm, moist air flows off the water and rises with the land and cools. The water vapor condenses, clouds form, and precipitation follows on the windward side of the mountain. By the time the air moves to the other side of the mountain, the air is much drier and little precipitation falls. And so this is going to lead into our next activity, which is dragging and dropping these little word blurbs. So the first one, warm, moist air is coming off the ocean. Then the air rises and cools and clouds form. Then the air moves over the mountains. And then on the other side, on the leeward side, there's drier air. So you can see that on the windward side, you've got all this vegetation. And then on the leeward side, it's dry and there's no vegetation.
We need those to feed the COVID.
And the instructions says the diagram shows how winds blow across the mountain ranges and affect the climate. Drag and drop the labels to complete the diagram. And you can see that I've already dragged and dropped them for you. Apply your knowledge. How does the ocean affect the climate of nearby mountain ranges? Ocean water is the source of precipitation that falls on the windward side of the mountains. Water evaporates from the ocean into the air, and winds blow the moist air toward the mountains. Then number 2, cool air can hold a lot less water vapor than warm air. Apply this fact to explain why clouds and precipitation form on the windward side of the mountain. When moist air from the ocean meets the mountains, it rises and cools along the mountainside. As the air cools, much of its water vapor condenses into clouds. The clouds eventually form rain or snow. How can mountain ranges and regional winds affect patterns of precipitation? Construct an explanation. When winds blow moist air from the ocean toward a mountain range, the moisture condenses into clouds and forms precipitation on the windward side of the range. Dry air blows over the leeward side, so little precipitation occurs there. So then you're going to type in all that information and then click the check mark. And then it shows which pages you've completed. And you can exit the interactivity.